Welcome to the Comics Experiment, the show right here at Comicstorian, where every Saturday I sit down with Dan, Andy, and sometimes some selective guests, and we chat about something involving comic books. You can find this streamed live every Thursday at about 2 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/eligiblemonster. You can also get the unedited, uncut versions of this podcast up on our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you can get a premium membership to our, basically all of our videos. You get early access and unedited, uncut versions of the podcast, and you get Mangastorian for the $5 tier. $2 tier gets you all the early access, uncut stuff. That is how we fund and support these podcasts when we don't have an ad, like today. So today I'd like to tell you about a great t-shirt brand called Designed by Humans, where you can go check out the Eligible Monsters store and get things like the brand t-shirt of our brand. The Final Fantasy XIV Titania Chibi Dark Knight one. It's backwards because the camera's throwing me off. And not get our copyright removed Spider-Man shirt.
Exclusive.
It's exclusive to the Patreon because we have some made up and we're sending them off to them. But we'll make other ones. But there are Comicstorian brand ones, including the classic Comicstorian metal shirt that we had up forever and I still love. You know that shirt cover, the cover of the metal book they did? Batman with the two axes storming in. We did it with my face. It was Comicstorian metal.
It's the dark universe of Comicstorian.
It's the dark multiverse.
It's the dark multiverse. It's the Ben Who laughs, which is just normal.
Did you see?
Actually, that's you.
Speaking of comics, right off the bat.
I guess.
Right off the bat. Speaking of comics, did you see what the plot to Superman and Batman by Joshua Williamson is?
No.
I saw
The new one coming out
Yeah.
where it's supposed to continue Batman Who Laughs.
It's continuing Batman Who Laughs.
I have not actually seen the full plot synopsis yet.
The plot
Did it
pitch-
come out this week?
No, there's an ad for it in the back of the comics.
Oh.
So I got to it. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's the Batman Superman book by Justin Williamson. And it's got the Batman Who Laughs in the background. And it says, he's infected select DC superheroes. Can Batman and Superman figure out who before they turn evil? I'm like, that is the coolest idea ever!
So clearly it's in continuity.
Oh, it's
Well,
gonna
yeah, it would
have
have
to
to
be.
be, yeah.
Yeah,
It
in
would
order
have
to
to
pull
be,
that off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the Batman Superman book coming out now.
That'd be kind of cool.
I
wasn't excited before because it had Superman.
It's funny because
I like Williamson too, actually.
He's
fun.
good.
Yeah, I like a lot of his stuff.
It's funny because today we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home and answering a bunch of questions from the Twitterverse. You go to the Comicstorian Twitter, you can ask us questions and we answer them on the show. But we're going to kick it off with Batman because the Batman Who Laughs...
But to start off our Spider-Man discussion,
Yeah.
the Batman Who Laughs.
Not Batman.
No, it's funny. Like when
Who
he was in
laughs?
DC Metal, I was like, cool villain. I don't want to see him overused.
Sure.
But so far, he's been in the Justice League book, the Batman Who Laughs book.
I mean, he's only a little bit been in the Justice League book.
He was
Right,
only in like 2 issues.
Yeah, it wasn't
he
anything
hasn't
crazy.
actually shown up since.
No. Well, because he's off destroying Gotham.
Oh, you know what else? We do have an actual sponsor other than our own t-shirts.
Yes, we do, Benny.
Our,
Who are
our,
they?
Our Patreon and our Twitch.
Who?
G Fuel. Comicstorian is actually got a G Fuel code. If you go use the code COMICS at your checkout at G Fuel, you'll get 30% off your order until the 14th, and then it'll become 10%. But it's still 10 to 30%. You're going to get either one of those. It's a special deal until the 14th. 30% off your order at G Fuel, and I do drink a lot of it. It's literally what I'm drinking right now. This is their shaker cup. If we get what?
I just angled it because the light's like slightly
show 'em
glaring.
That's Code Vein.
Yeah, that's the Code Vein face, but this
It
is
is
the G
pretty
Fuel.
cool. Actually, that is kind of cool.
So,
I'll give you credit.
but if we can, if we do well enough with this promotion, we'll get a shaker cup of Comicstorian, and if we do well with that, we get a flavor. I did request, nerd, blood, sweat, and tears, and they said something fruit punch, probably better, but we'll figure that out.
I would have said Cheetos and chair ass. Like the way Ben's chair in there smells.
It does.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
We had to throw away your old one because it got pretty bad.
Kevin's got it now.
Which isn't better.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry you have to deal with the torture.
So anyway, guys,
See, I want us
Batman
to
Who
get a
Laughs.
flavor so that I can say every single time you promote it, you can taste Comicstorian in your mouth.
That's what Stuart just said in our Twitch chat.
Did he?
He literally just said that.
Jesus,
It's 'cause
stop
I say it every
stealing
time.
jokes, Dan.
I say it all the time.
Hat.
Anyway, so do you think Batman Who Laughs is being overused now that he's the villain of another book?
I would say no, because that's supposed to be a continuation of the Batman Who Laughs book. So, really, he's only in one book right now. He's popped up a little
One
bit
at a
in Justice.
time, though. I feel like he's so far getting used more than the Joker is.
Well, it's because he's Batman Joker. Which is just a cool concept.
I don't think he's getting overused at all.
Yeah, I would say because like he's not the villain in every Batman book. He's literally in one Batman book right now.
Okay.
And then the other Batman books don't even mention him.
Plus, it's named after him.
Yeah, and the book is named after him. Yeah, that's a good point. Like he's
It'd
not
be kind of weird if he wasn't in it.
He's not in Tom King's Batman because that would make it better, and Tom King doesn't want to do that. I don't think he showed up at all in Detective Comics. I don't know who's writing that right now, so I can't make a joke. My point is he's going to move from the Batman Who Laughs comic to the Batman and Superman comic. So no, I would say he's not being overused.
Plus, I mean, if you consider all the other villains in DC, I mean, Lex Luthor is a villain that gets overused because he is in literally everything. Because
right now, he's literally.
Yeah, like he's quite literally in everything.
For the longest time, Joker was overused just because
like
your go-to Batman villain.
Exactly, it's the fresh villain face. Yeah, and you got to use it to make sure people keep it in mind, so we don't eventually go down the road. And it's like it shows up, and I go, Benny, who's this? And you go, so some obscure villain from 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 5 years later, they're like, hey, it's the Batman Who Laughs. Who?
Speaking of the year of the villain, actually I found it funny. Most of them are at the end of the book. They're having a moment where Lex arrives to them, gives them the offer.
Yeah.
They're not nearly as tie-inable as we thought they might be.
Okay.
So we're not going to touch them. A lot of it's literally just him showing up going, I have something for you.
It's essentially when...
That's how Ben gave me this job, actually.
In a hologram?
Yeah, in a hologram.
Half-white Martian?
Yeah, it's actually pretty impressive. Now, I was going to say, it sounds
nice,
exactly like how Marvel did the Bringing Back Wolverine.
Yeah.
Just like a small panel at the
Harley's
end
is
of
funny.
all the different ones.
So Harley right now is doing a weird fourth wall where she has her own comics in her hands. And so at the end of the current arc, she gets to the end and she's like, oh yeah, we're part of the year of the villain thing. Let's see what happens. And she turns to the last page and is there talking to Lex in her comic. So she's reading her comic in her comic about her taking the offer.
I swear when Gwenpool got canceled, the Harley Quinn writers were like, people were liking that. Let's turn Harley into Gwenpool.
I feel like she's, because like earlier it was she's Deadpool, but then they made Red Tool as a way to separate that.
Yeah.
You know Red Tool, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know his origin?
He's brothers with Red Lion.
Red Tool is a guy from the future who was sent back in time to kill Harley Quinn because somewhere in her continuity, apparently she kills Batman.
Sure.
And so it turns it into a Mad Max world. So they do a Mad Max arena, and the winner gets sent back in time to kill Harley Quinn. But he went back in time, and in his first appearance, his arm was cut off. So he lost all of his future tech and just was like, well, I like her, I'll stay.
What a tool.
What a tool.
So,
No,
okay. I think we've talked enough about Batman on our Spider-Man episode.
Yeah.
Sure.
So anyway, Batman versus Spider-Man. Who do you guys think would win?
Batman.
Oh, now here's the rules. It's Ben Affleck Batman
Batman.
versus Tom Holland Far From Home Spider-Man.
Batman.
I don't know.
But eventually...
Star Wars. Oh my God.
And Vader's in
All
there.
right, so Yoda shows up, right?
So you got Vader there, but it's Vader down Vader.
All right, now so here's what I can tell you right now. Here's what happened. Pay attention. All right. So it started out as all superhero crossovers do, where they start fighting, but eventually, Spider-Man becomes Spider-Robin.
He takes Ben Affleck Batman as the new Tony Stark.
Yes, exactly.
Spider-Robin.
Do you think he'd call himself that?
I don't think so, but I think everybody else would start doing it, and it would piss him off.
Dude, that's like a genius idea.
God.
Which is, it would start off, because they finally have that sit down, talk to talk, as they always do in superhero crossovers. And he would tell them about how, he lost his Uncle Ben, and then Tony Stark went. And Batman's only response to someone having trauma is, would you like a Robin costume?
You want to fight some villains?
So, I mean, that's how it would
We got this web thing going on, right?
Yeah,
we could use that.
Maybe Spider Robin, I don't know. Robin or Spider Boy or Robin Man. Something, there would be something in there.
Good old Robin Man.
Robin Man.
It's Batman and Robin Man.
Yeah. My parents died. Here you go, Robin costume. I don't know what to tell you to do. Get in the car.
My surrogate father died.
Yeah.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Who do you think would win? Andy apparently just makes him into Robin.
I mean, that is the logical.
The readers.
Yes.
That's who would win.
Exactly.
What do you got?
Honestly, because of the fact of the way, since we are going into spoiler territory for Far From Home in this.
It is spoiler territory for Far From Home, this whole rest of this episode, basically, at this point.
What Spider-Man did in the fight against Mysterio at the end makes me think he could potentially actually put up a fight.
I mean, you could put up a fight.
Because, I mean,
I'll
while
give you
yes,
that,
you can
Spider-Man.
prepare for everything.
Sorry. That was actually an accident.
And that's why I had
that
it
was actually an accident. Spider-Wing. That's what we would call
Spider-Wing?
him. He'd be like Nightwing.
I like
Do you
it.
think he'd get wings?
I like it.
Well, he
Well,
has
he
wings.
has them.
Oh yeah, he does in the movies now, doesn't he?
He's
Yeah.
got the glider suit.
Yeah. But, I mean,
like
spider
an
sense. I feel like that would counteract a lot of... Who knows? Who knows? Does he have his Peter Tingle? Is it post or pre-Peter Tingle?
Tingle.
Is it working? Is your Peter Tingle working? They got medicine for that, Peter.
Where is this conversation even going?
I don't know.
Why? Give me the button. You don't get the button.
You know who should have the button? Gary. Gary should have the button. Just randomly, we'll hear.
You know
it from
who
off screen.
definitely should not have the button?
Ben.
DC, because they put it out way too soon, and then it doesn't relate to anything because Doomsday Clock gets delayed again. Okay.
Oh yeah, that get delayed.
That was awesome, by the way. I had no idea where we were going with that at first.
I liked that. Okay, so Spider-Man
Sorry.
Far From Home.
Yes.
Yes.
Been out a week and a half. It's time to talk about it.
Okay.
It's good. I liked it.
I also
Thanks for
liked it.
watching.
Yeah, no, it was a great episode. I enjoyed the movie. Overall, I honestly, Homecoming was great because it just showed it was almost like Homecoming was Marvel being like, we can make a Spider-Man movie you'll enjoy.
Yes.
Because we have to redeem what happened in Amazing.
Yes.
No, I don't think that was it. It was just like, you remember those other movies you didn't like so much? Nah, we made a better one.
Yeah.
Far From Home to me felt more. I liked how it tied so closely into the end game.
Okay.
So it felt more important, but it felt very Spider-Man. Like his constant plight of I want to be with Mary Jane.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Or MJ, Michelle something or other.
Michelle-
The
Jones.
old Spider-Man of I'm a superhero, but I don't want to be a superhero.
Right,
I want to be a
right.
regular person, but I'm
Yeah.
a superhero. And I
Just
can't.
wait till the next movie and we'll get the classic. He's thrown away his
I thought that was gonna happen
uniform.
again.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
walk away and the trash can is
They should have
falling
done
out.
that as the movie poster. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world's not gonna have Spider-Man to kick around anymore. He's walking away with his hands in his pocket.
No, seriously, I was expecting that scene in the movie.
I wasn't.
Well, I mean, no, I honestly from
it
this
didn't
movie,
fit-
no,
yeah, it didn't
but it wouldn't
fit
have
this
fit.
movie.
But I possibly in the next movie because of spoiler alert, the ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. I have a
Which is-
feeling
yes,
that's actually
so
what
that's
they're leading
possibly-
to.
Yeah,
Okay,
could
so
go
let's
that,
do this
yeah.
the most because we're we can have there's no way the SEO is gonna win on this one, right? Let's just do it backwards. The ending. Let's talk because everyone wants to know my
Yes,
opinion on
so-
the ending.
The fact that they got J.K. Simmons was awesome.
Yes.
That was great.
That was great. I definitely think they're going to go into the he gives up Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, works very well with the fact that they just revealed Spider-Man's Peter Parker.
Sure.
Two, I believe the next one that they've got is the last one in the Sony deal, and Sony's talking
There's-
about wanting to take back Spider-Man.
Again, yeah.
No,
And
that's
this
that's
would give
gone
a
now.
reason to... It is
The current
done.
talks now, as far as we know from the leaked rumors, okay, the only thing if Sony wanted to take it back was one thing from Amy Pascal 3 years ago. So that that's not a wide thing.
Yeah,
that's been
okay.
said.
What I remember reading was after they were done with the Sony deal, they were going to reboot it again.
Yeah, and that's what she said. That and she, while she does have a lot of say in what happens with Spider-Man,
yeah.
I feel like that would be very bad.
That would be so
Actually,
counter.
I don't know. Because if they do the whole plot with Doctor Strange wiping everyone's mind, that is the best way to keep those actors as those characters. Soft reboot Spider-Man because everyone's forgotten. And it would give you that slight leeway to mess with some
I still feel like
things
it'd be
or-
such a waste.
Well,
Oh, it
supposedly
would.
the rumor
Yeah,
now
but they
is
could.
there's a secret fourth movie that no one has known is actually in the works,
Oh my god!
and that's supposed to be the Sinister Six
I
if
don't
they
think
can
so.
get all the
I don't
actors to
think
come
that's
back.
true because Tom Holland hasn't spoiled it.
It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point.
He did actually.
What?
I was looking at some of the best Tom Holland spoilers.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, no, Spider-Man, this is my best impression of Tom Holland. Spider-Man's been planned for 4 movies or something
Please
like that.
stop.
This is awful.
Please stop.
Hit the button. Hit the
Yeah.
button.
Stop.
And the movie, the interviewer was like, Marvel hasn't said that yet. And he goes, well, the cat's out of the bag.
Okay. There you go.
I know he's British. I'm
actually,
doing my British boy accent.
God, it's all, hit the button.
Yeah.
Here, give me the button. Every time he does it, I'm doing that. All right. If you do an accent, I'm doing the button.
I want to
away
make a
from that.
custom button that every time we press it, it just goes, stop.
Shut up.
So anyway, supposedly, what is actually being talked about, if these rumors are to be led to be true, and the things that have been leaked out and talked about, 4 movies for Spider-Man, and there is a possibility now that Marvel is actually going to do a R-rated Deadpool to bring Venom over. Supposedly, this is where the
Interesting.
talks are being placed.
I don't know how R-rated Deadpool translates to Venom and Spider-Man, but okay.
Well, the reason they weren't using Venom, like
Was
Sony kept them, is because they wanted to make this R-rated Venom.
I know,
movie.
but
Right.
making Deadpool R-rated and then
No, because before that,
Spider-Man-
Well, because Marvel was always like, R-rated movies.
Oh, you're talking just in general
yeah,
with
yeah.
R-rated.
They
Because the
have
idea
done-
is an
because I
R-rated,
feel like-
an R-rated movie won't hit as broad an audience
Well, we
as
thought
one consume.
until
Until people are
Deadpool
taking,
and-
taking
yeah.
like 4-year-olds to see Deadpool.
And Logan.
And Logan. That's right.
Yeah.
Logan, I would say go see Deadpool before Logan.
At least Deadpool's funny. Logan's just sad. Like it's an awesome movie,
What you did that?
but it's just sad.
It's just sad.
Like it just shows you like the one thing all your heroes cannot stop, and that's getting old. Jeez.
Well, I mean, Captain America proved that in Endgame.
That's true.
Yeah, that's he did.
Even Cap got old.
Even Cap got old.
Cap got old.
No, and for the record, before everyone starts going in the comments being like, these rumors have been disputed, blah, blah, blah. It's all rumors and all leaks. There is no confirmation. This is what is supposedly been leaked out of the studios of the direction of Spider-Man and Sony and Venom and all this other stuff.
I honestly,
I don't think they should mix Venom because
I don't.
that makes that first movie not make any sense.
I don't want Venom.
Well, to be fair, that first movie didn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, it was awesome, but it didn't make a lot of sense.
I would be okay if they brought Venom in, if it was just the symbiote and it joined with Flash Thompson, and we got
No,
Agent,
not
and
this Flash Thompson. This Flash Thompson.
This
I
honestly,
someone.
this Flash Thompson does not seem like the agent.
Ned becomes
That would be awesome.
This Flash Thompson, it has proven more in Far From Home, is
Yes.
basically just Harry Osborn.
He is.
That's honestly, I would say this Flash Thompson's more like Harry Osborn. This guy doesn't seem to me like because I mean Flash Thompson was like the the quarterback, and then
It was the job.
and then
like,
join the army. That makes sense. Like this guy. I mean, maybe he will join the army. I don't know because
he's
I
a
mean,
scrawny guy, though.
yeah, I met a lot of scrawny guys in the army. To be fair, he just doesn't strike me as the agent Venom
He
type.
doesn't, but I can dream.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
however, I think
Our chat says, how about Brad?
I-
The Venom symbiote joins with Brad.
No, screw that kid.
Brad.
He was the annoying one. The
Oh,
no
yeah.
one liked.
Well,
he was a little
he
prick.
He's closer.
He's closer to like the comic book
I mean, he
version
will
be.
of Flash Thompson, yeah. But I think Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock playing off of Tom Holland's
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man would be really cool.
Yeah. I think that'd be a really solid movie.
Tonally,
If they
obviously, both
fight
movies
Carnage, and then
That would be
Carnage
sweet.
then goes into the Deadpool movie.
but like tonally, both those movies were
watch
so
that.
different though. But both are such good actors. I
That's
think
the-
it would actually be really
See,
cool.
that's the problem though, is if the first Venom movie had not been established, yeah, Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock,
Yeah.
perfect. It's the fact that the movie did come out without the intent of them being together, then they want to join them
Right,
together. It just adds too
Well,
much.
That's what I said. It would be a little
Unless
wonky.
they multiverse, Spider-Verse that stuff and bring him in.
Okay, so technically,
Because I mean, we
love
did
how
just talk about the multiverse.
this discussion is going to be a long one today.
It
Far From
is.
Home to Venom. You could easily.
I was like, we're not even talking about the movie anymore. Now we're talking about what we want to happen in the universe.
Venom could be merged easily because what Venom does, the alien lands and the alien becomes part of Venom, and then it goes to Eddie. They didn't actually reference or talk about you could because everything that happens to Venom's over one night or 2
They
days. isn't
say
it?
in the
I believe
movie
they never
say
specify they're on Earth either. Just saying.
Just kidding. They're on Vulcan. One's for you, Gary. In the movie, Eddie does say there's some throwaway comment about how he had to move out to L.A. because of that thing that happened in New York.
Right. So
It's-
I think that they
all it was.
made
That's true.
sure to not mention anything, leave enough vague, and not directly reference anything that happened, so
That they could.
just merge them in.
Yeah.
And you could even have the Venom form the spider on the chest kind of a deal.
Right.
You know, like how I have
Like he's-
I have
like-
Titania and a Dark Knight in the Final Fantasy 14 logo here.
You
that-
keep
and
getting
I'm
the
looking at the
wrong
thing,
side.
it's a reflection. And you can buy it on our Designed by Human store if you want to support all of our endeavors, or our EM shirt, or not that one. That one's not available.
This one, you join our Patreon.
Special box.
No, I mean, they could easily link it in there. I don't know. The problem with Spider-Man is simply this. When the deal went down, we were told 3 movies, 2 crossover movies. And we already knew that was going to... 3 crossover movies. We already knew Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame.
Right.
That was the crossovers. 3 real movies are coming out of this.
Although supposedly I read somewhere that Endgame didn't count for everybody's crossover movie
Apparently...
because they were only in it for everybody was only in it for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, apparently they supposedly they lumped it in with Infinity War.
Okay,
So, like,
yeah, it counted as one. Yeah.
Because then they also like filmed them nearly back to back also.
Right, yeah.
Pretty close.
So because you could have easily taken all those crossover people at the ending and filmed the ending.
Sure.
Then went back and filmed
Yeah,
your core cast for
right.
Endgame. Yeah, originally that was the deal. In Spider-Man, yes, Amy Pascal came out. Amy Pascal said, we're going to pull him back and we're going to reboot him again. And everyone was like, why the heck would you do that?
And we're getting rid of Tom Holland. Screw that guy.
Yeah, she actually did say they're getting rid of Tom Holland. They're
Really?
rebooting him.
Oh,
Holland
like,
Tom.
why would you? Oh, all right.
So, but now we've got things
the
like Tom
best.
Holland says he's going to play Spider-Man until he doesn't, like, for indefinitely.
Yeah.
We got things like
He's essentially Robert Downey Jr.
The best part is he's young enough that you could go with him for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Peter in his 30s.
Parker Industries, Peter Parker.
Tom Holland's just so sick and tired of playing that part.
Well, if someone offered me the role of Spider-Man, I would take that to the grave. It's like the people that
Well,
go,
you say that now until
well, it's like people that go to me and they're like, man, you've been doing the Comicstorian thing for like 6 years. Aren't you getting tired of it? Like, why would I get tired of talking about comic books as a profession?
Yeah.
Like Tom Holland going, why would I get tired of a guaranteed paycheck
It's true, yeah.
of millions of dollars?
They're up to like Spider-Man 13. Spider-Man off-world. And he's
Exactly.
like in space and stuff.
it's still actually the 6th reboot of Spider-Man.
But it's just Tom
It's still
Holland
Tom
the whole
Holland.
time.
And he starts off and he goes, God damn it.
The multiverse. He does that like into the Spider-Verse.
He like
multiverse
falls
shift.
out and he goes, God damn it, I'm on Earth something.
Something. 8,842.
Reeling back to what we want to have happen in Venom, let's go back to the end game. How do you feel? So one of the people in our chat shot me a tweet before we started this, and I said, ask us anything.
Okay.
They want to know our opinion on the whole idea of Spider-Man losing his mask, because the big good debate everyone's having is Mysterio showed up in 2 fights,
Yep.
no real camera time, only in Europe.
Okay.
Who's really going to believe this guy in general? Like, to say, oh, he's Peter Parker.
Well,
they
so the argument I would be.
Didn't they show this? Oh, no, he
No, they
just
didn't.
says it.
Yeah,
Yes.
he just
says it and
He
flashes
doesn't
the
show
photo
his
of it.
face, and
Yeah.
yeah, flashes the
That's
photo.
gonna
So
have-
here would be my argument: is that regardless of whether you believe, like you're a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, and Jay Jonah pops up on the screen, awesome cameo, just real quick.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was a great
that
one.
was great. I'm
100%.
so. Glad
I
they
did
got
double
him
take
again.
that, though. I was like, wait, isn't that the guy
Yeah,
from
I was like,
Kobe?
That was my
actually,
first thought,
in the
too.
theater, I went,
He has less hair, so
He
at
does,
first
yeah, he's
you're like,
older.
wait.
and that's fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah,
He's got to age, Dan.
Well, really?
as
didn't know
as
people
all of
did
your
that.
heroes do, like in Logan.
It's so sad.
No, so my argument would be this: like, regardless of whether you're a New Yorker, J. Jonah Jameson comes over the screen and says, this guy's Spider-Man, this guy said it. Regardless of whether you believe it, like, even if all of his classmates don't believe that Peter is Spider-Man, they're still gonna either make fun of him for it, or it's still out there, like, it's Peter, Peter's Spider-Man. So regardless of whether everyone's like, yeah, Peter Parker is definitely Spider, because most people are gonna be like, who the hell is Peter Parker?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, that's the running gag.
yeah,
I think
like-
they just did that in the Miss Marvel Spider-Man crossover,
Yeah.
where like she's in his body. She's like, oh, and he's like, I'm Peter Parker. She's like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah, like the average person isn't going to know who that is. In the comic books, when they did the unmasking, like he did it. It was part of the
Civil War.
Civil War, and
Yeah.
he did a press conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay, this guy is, and at the time, I don't think he had like industries or anything like
He
that.
had nothing. He was
Yeah,
just
didn't
a
have
normal
anything at that
photographer
point.
working with Tony.
Right. Okay. So, but if he had like Parker Industry now, it'd be like Bruce Wayne coming out and be like,
Yeah.
I am Batman, and everybody knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah.
So.
In terms of people believing it, though, everyone's going to believe it. How many things do
yeah.
you see online where you see the title and without even reading the article
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
looking up
totally
anything
true.
else, you go, 100% true, I'm telling everyone.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
just the day and age we live in.
I mean,
too,
for the
yeah.
record, I'm still waiting to find out why that girl was so shocked when everyone started taking photos. Every time I click that link, it's a totally different article and it makes no sense. But I keep trying to find out what she's getting all shocked about.
He's like, I need to see these pictures.
What are the photos?
And the last one will surprise me. I love it when they
not
do that.
even
I love it when they
there.
do that one. Like, yeah.
The last one's always a link to another article.
Yeah. That's why it surprises you. Nah, surprise got me.
Quick question.
Oh.
Is anyone ever surprised by the last photo?
No, I
I
never
don't
even
usually
look at
click
them.
on them, so yeah.
Y34IK. I'm the only one that has access to that thing. When we're done here, say it like between shows. Bring it up again. I will get you our Warframe glyph. Which, if you're watching this live on the YouTube side, keep in mind if you come and join us on Twitch, we do have a Warframe glyph. You can have that symbol.
So I think it's going to be a big thing because while most people are not going to know who Peter Parker is. Does not matter. There's a full school of kids that know who he is.
It's going to turn into an issue.
It's going to become a thing, and it's not even just but it's not even just that. It's going to be a Spider-Man has been revealed, regardless of who it is. Yeah. They're going to now go to other Avengers.
Yeah,
and potentially want. Well, Spider-Man's unmasked now. You have to unmask now. Like,
I wonder if it's going to lead in that direction.
Like it definitely could.
And then all of his Spider-Man then responses will be under scrutiny. Because it's the constant argument of like, well, technically he's a vigilante. So if he beats me up, I can sue him.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether...
You could run into the Incredibles situation.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's... the Fantastic Four ran into that in the comic book all the time. Oh, we're suing the Fantastic Four because they're this well-known family that live in the Baxter Building. So I can have my lawyer go straight there.
Yeah.
So you can run into that.
Aren't they always in litigation, technically?
Yeah.
I think they've mentioned it before. Like, Reed's like, we're always in some kind of a lawsuit or whatever.
Yeah, so he's going to be under constant scrutiny,
just
regardless of whether... everyone believes it or not.
Yeah. So it doesn't affect just Spider-Man. It ripples throughout the entire MCU essentially.
Plus there's the argument of like now his identity, even if like not everyone believes it, if a supervillain finds out that Peter Parker may be Spider-Man.
Right. Go grab Aunt May.
I have to go just grab Aunt May or his classmates.
No, hold on.
No, it's going to be MJ, who is currently the Gwen Stacy.
No, it would be I got to go kidnap that super hot Aunt May.
That's what I was to say. I would grab Aunt May. Marissa Tomei is looking good.
How did you guys feel about the...
Marissa Tomei?
Because the whole plot is basically...
Can we just change the entire subject to...
I get it. Happy's shooting way above his...
Bravo, Happy. Bravo.
So when Happy sits down with Spider-Man and he's like, I don't know who's going to take over for Iron Man.
Great scene.
Yeah.
I love that.
He goes over and he's literally doing the Iron Man stuff.
Well, that was your constant reverse psychology as well. I don't know if Happy meant it that way, but that was like, listen, you're not going to be Tony Stark. And then immediately he gets up and becomes Tony Stark. Like almost exactly like in that first Iron Man movie. So
Which was so epic about it.
And then Happy had the little smile, which to me showed that he knew Peter would become that next Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Even though he said nobody can be, or at least close enough. He's going to be the next Peter Parker. He's not going to be Tony Stark.
Exactly. He's going to be the next iconic person.
Exactly. But he's following in Tony's footsteps.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably one of the best scenes in the movie for me.
Oh, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it only has the good appeal it had with us from watching all the MCU movies. You get to see that growth to that point, but it still was like a really powerful moment to see him stand up, become Iron Man, basically.
Yeah.
And then build a Spider-Man suit, which I'm like, oh, it's Parker Industries.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was a good little closeout to kind of the Peter-Tony arc that had kind of started in Civil War, where they first met, and then went into Homecoming. I was trying to think of the first Spider-Man title.
Wait a second. Which one was it?
Homecoming, where he showed up, kind of that paternal figure kind of thing.
Right.
And then, hugging him at the end of Endgame and all that, all that stuff. So I thought it was a good little closeout.
And no one can ever forget the I don't feel so good, Mr.
Stark.
So sad. No one cares about anyone else that got dusted.
But I mean, it was such a good scene though when he came flipping in at Endgame and was like, I did this thing and blah 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 blah, and Tony just hugs him and he's like, oh, okay, this is nice. That sort of thing. So it was that little. I thought it was a good little kind of closeout to the Tony.
Right. I think it was really needed, but now I feel like Spider-Man can kind of go off on his own in the MCU.
Right.
Before he was really kind of dependent on Iron Man. Right. Tony Stark was his surrogate father kind of a role, and he took that kind of a role for him.
Actually, thinking about it in that light, this truly is the changing of who Tony Stark is, because when Iron Man first arrived, it was Tony Stark. He outed himself.
Yeah.
And so now that Tony Stark, Iron Man, is gone, Spider-Man gets forcibly outed, and we can see kind of how that's going to go from that new direction and potentially go into Parker Industries.
Yeah. Possibly. How did you think about the portrayal of Mysterio? When he was first announced, we all, right off the bat, were like, he's bad.
No
he's
way.
evil.
Yeah, he's evil.
But
I thought-
the reaction that I've seen from people who are not comic fans like we are,
Sure.
they were surprised.
Oh, yeah,
Like
he-
you said, your wife in general.
She literally turned to me in the theater and go, "Why didn't you tell me he was a bad guy?" I go, "I assumed you knew. I don't know. It's Mysterio. It's kind of his deal."
Did you hear his name?
She's like, "Did you know?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I knew from the beginning."
At some point, there was going to be a heel
yeah,
turn
yeah.
here.
Either because I always said like, okay, it could go. Maybe this is a multiverse, Quentin
Right.
Beck, and then our version of Quentin Beck
Will show up.
will show up and be the evil one. Like that,
Yeah.
he'll steal the other, Mysterio's identity.
Yeah.
I was like, that could happen. I could see that.
He leaves, but then the evil one's the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. But when
Yeah.
Quentin actually like comes out and basically is like, "I'm evil, everybody, have a drink." Like I was like,
Villainy.
"Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense too." Yeah.
I thought he did. Jake Gyllenhaal was the best actor for that.
Oh, he was amazing.
Because
So
he,
good.
the way he looks, the way he acts, and the way he treats Peter, you do go in not knowing.
Yeah, I mean,
the
when
when
I
I was watching, I'm
version
like,
of Quentin was so good.
Yeah, it
and
really
then
was.
that complete turn.
yeah.
I liked, especially when you see it as like just a video he's playing. This is for my family.
Yeah. And he's like, "I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it."
I liked
Let's
that.
punch it up a little. Let's punch it.
Yeah. I did like that. How about the multiverse reveal? Because it's funny because a lot of people are like, well, the multiverse is real, but
They never fully
They
acknowledge
say,
that it's real.
they say in Doctor Strange.
the multiverse is real, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, so
That's right.
everyone was freaking out that there was a drop of the 616 and all those other things and blah blah blah. But what if Mysterio's fake and what if the whole thing's a lie? And I was on board. I'm like, oh, you know what? Which I find funny because my exact argument was, look, it could be Chameleon, it could be someone else, but let's just.
That would have been a reveal. It was Chameleon the whole time.
It was
Jesus, we did get two villains.
my argument against it all was like, if it was just Peter and Mysterio, I'd believe that they were tricked. But with Nick Fury in the mix,
Oh, yeah,
you
that
can't
was-
trick Nick Fury.
Well, until
how
you
is
learn.
Nick Fury not going to learn? Turns out.
It wasn't Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Which is the best way to do that.
Yeah, because at the end I
Because
was like,
everyone
even I was
goes,
like, now it makes sense.
Yeah, but even though they basically did not confirm nor deny the multiverse, they already did in Doctor Strange.
In Doctor Strange.
And the follow-up shows we know about, like the What If show.
Yep.
It's like, well, that's a multiverse and the multiversal Loki. So it's like everyone was freaking out that the multiverse is revealed, and even I was getting excited about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like once that turn happened,
They were like, "Oh, the multiverse isn't a thing." Like,
but I'm like, no, wait, it is.
Keep in mind as well, though, there are people that don't watch the other movies to know these things.
That's true.
Like
Oh, yeah,
there
yeah.
are people that just
Yeah,
watch
yeah, yeah.
Spider-Man
Or just
don't
watch
even
something
look
else, or
into any
didn't
of
wanna
it.
go
And
see
so
Doctor
to
Strange.
them,
Yeah.
this was just a reveal, and then it being fake, and so I could see stuff coming out of that. But yeah, if it did get confirmed, was it in the?
It was like mentioned in passing in
was
Doctor
it
Strange.
in his movie?
In his
or,
movie.
Okay.
Yep, they talk about the multiverse, and then when he goes and fights Dormammu, or doesn't fight him, but he deals with Dormammu.
Right.
That's supposed to be part of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
That is like the
Like
It's
between-
Dormammu's verse, isn't it? Like,
no. So that's like the weird. I want to say in the movie they say, I don't think they give it a name, but it's like it's basically like
like the shadow realm.
space in between the multiverses.
That's right, the glass.
Yeah, which in DC is called the Bleed, but I don't know what they call it in.
I don't think they even actually have an official name.
We'll call
Yeah.
it the
I like
Shadow Realm.
Stewart's remark, how to trick Nick Fury. You don't, he tricks you.
Pretty much. That was such a good
Reveal?
And I love the fact that she was like, "I cannot believe you fell for that." And he's like, "Did you see the cape?"
Yeah,
Because I was
sounded legit.
yeah. Because I also like that how Quentin was saying, that they believe that he's from another multiverse, yada yada yada. He's like, because anybody will believe anything nowadays.
He's like, the ridiculous of this, which is just ridiculous enough that everyone will believe it.
They call it the dark dimension in Doctor Strange.
That's lame. I
So,
prefer the Shadow Realm.
I mean, those are some of the key highlights. How do you feel about MJ, aka Michelle Jones, not Mary Jane?
I think
I'm fine with her, honestly.
I think it's the exact same thing as everything they're doing with Peter Parker right now. They're merging different characters.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Like
what it is.
Harry and Flash is Flash Thompson
Ned
right
is
now.
just Genki.
Ned is Genki and Harry in terms
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
best friend
Yeah, true.
and
Yeah.
Genki.
I think they're trying to leave you guessing is the whole point. They don't
Yeah.
want you to, because the problem with Spider-Man is everyone, even if you don't really know Spider-Man, knows the core plot to Spider-Man.
And I think that's also why they did try and also imply that Mysterio could be a good guy, because all these other different characters are different in our MCU version of Spider-Man. why can't Mysterio be
Right.
different?
And
Like
a lot
that-
of the characters are closer to their Ultimate Universe version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
he's even
Mary
said,
Jane in that universe is kind of like the outcast. She's not quite as weird as...
Michelle Jones.
Sure, I was trying to think of the actress's name.
Oh, Zendaya.
Yeah,
Zendaya. I always
Zendaya.
screw it up. She's not quite as like kind of that weird kind of quirky girl that she portrays, but she is definitely not like the supermodel that is
Right.
in the normal universe.
she's still that too in the comics, isn't she? Yeah, because she's still
Supermodel?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mary
she's
Jane.
she's still that.
That's her. That's
Yeah.
You gotta love the old school 60s, 70s superheroes. So it's like who do they end
Supermodel.
up with? The supermodel.
Hell yeah. So she's close to that. And honestly, I'm fine with it. You changing certain characters from the cast, that's fine as long as they're interesting characters.
Yeah.
If you change them just to change them, like, oh, we're gonna do something different, and it's really just Mary Jane,
Yeah.
but you call her like,
Jane Mary.
yeah, something stupid like, yeah, her name's Susie now. Why? Just cause. Like, there's no point.
Did you go to
that.
Susie because of Stranger Things 3?
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think about that. We won't even get into that. I'm mad at that chick. She killed Hopper. That's all I'm saying. Spoiler.
Seriously, that just came
I don't
out.
care.
That's
I
a
don't
big
care.
one.
That's a big one.
Oh.
What was I saying?
Sense
Oh
right
no.
there.
So I'm fine with you changing characters if they're interesting characters.
Okay.
If it, Ned is essentially how do you pronounce it? Genki.
Genki,
From
yeah.
from Ultimate.
I've always said Genki, so if I'm wrong.
And that's fine too. And instead of having your standard Harry Osborn, because we know that story.
Yeah.
If you want to introduce Harry Osborn at some point, sure, cool, all right. But to give him a different best friend,
Well, I think part of
and
the
it
problem
makes it interesting.
part of the problem with the Spider-Man thing is even if you haven't read the comics, there's been 2 other franchises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're just giving me a kind of a alternate version of the Spider-Man mythos, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because it's better than just the same thing over
Well,
and over again.
it's just like Spider-Man never had this kind of relationship with Iron Man on any.
no,
I've
yeah.
never seen that in any of the comics where they're like he's like a father figure to
Yeah.
him. He barely even works to them outside of like the Civil War thing where he's like Spider-Man. We don't talk very often, but you want to reveal your identity to the world to help my cause.
And Spider-Man's like, wait, what?
I mean, think about it. Like they don't really.
talking
They
about?
never, isn't Tony one of the ones that's like against him even joining the Avengers half the time?
I think so.
Yeah. So
He's like, well,
He's
Captain
just a
America
kid.
just jumped off the roof of this building and took down a fighter jet. But
You can do that, right?
You could reveal yourself if you want to. I'd be like, hell no, I'm going with the guy who can take down a fighter jet with his bare hands.
completely pseudo topic. What's the difference between a model and a supermodel?
One's super.
one
and
has
the other's
powers.
on Instagram.
Well, one is more of a street level model.
Okay. Well,
I would put
You
it
know
in
what, I'll just
standing
take
of
that.
popularity.
Yeah,
If
I would say
people know who
supermodel
you
is
are,
like international.
supermodel.
Yeah.
If people don't, but they go, oh, they're in magazines, model.
yeah, honestly, yeah, that's probably.
our chat thinks it's salary.
Well, I mean, it boils down to
Technically,
probably
there's
like
3 tiers,
international
though.
models. I would say are like on the supermodel level, whereas like the ones in local magazines and
Well, let's be honest. It
JC
goes
Penney ads are probably not
it goes
your supermodel level.
Supermodel,
Sure.
model,
Right.
Instagram model.
There you go.
So okay.
Well, actually,
So,
they like hover. 'cause
Is there any core?
sometimes they're-
Is there any core movie elements you would like to discuss before we move on to the next thing related to the movie, but not in the movie?
Any other core movie elements?
Like actually in the movie, because I want to bring up something.
I feel bad, sort of, for Brad.
I don't at all.
Because he was, like, he just really liked MJ, and he was trying.
I just love when
and-
he's like, the teacher comes up. You need to stop taking pictures in the bathroom.
He's like, I'm gonna be the cool teacher for a minute.
Yeah.
You need to stop taking pictures of people in the bathroom.
And I just love that he's the science teacher with everything in witchcraft. He's like,
As a scientist,
witchcraft.
I can tell you right now, it's witches.
And he even like wrote a book on witchcraft. I hope he shows up in Scarlet Witch for the record. He better be like the historian for Scarlet
yeah,
Witch.
yeah.
That'd be a cool thing to do. The thing I wanted to bring up is
Yes.
this is the biggest hint we've ever had that there is a possibility at Secret Invasion coming. The Skrulls are
Yeah, but
literally
the Skrulls are still good guys.
right, but it's
Yeah.
implying that this could be a thing because now now at least you're questioning who is a Skrull.
I think that will get answered. Never. No, I could see that being like the next like mini overall arc.
What if they flip it on its head and the Secret Invasion is Nick Fury controlling it?
Why would Nick Fury be controlling?
Well, but it's not bad. It's good. Like he's
why would that?
Why
be
would
good?
you invade What?
This is why Ben doesn't write movies.
No. I'm saying is, okay, we already had the Hydra situation. Oh, you didn't know they were bad.
Sure. So Nick's like, haha.
You didn't know I was bad.
No, I'm saying instead of making Secret Invasion the alien queen coming to take over everyone and becoming Jessica Drew, who doesn't exist for 20 years.
Sure.
She doesn't exist in the movies.
As far as we know.
She's in a different...
I think she's tied to the Netflix deal, but that's
Jessica Drew?
I think so.
Oh, Jessica Drew.
Or she's tied to Sony. I don't think Marvel has her. Anyway, what I'm saying is to keep you guessing, like they've been doing recently, where they're trying to not give you a carbon copy of the comic book. Mm-hmm. What if Nick Fury does his own version of Secret Invasion as a good thing, but he like replaces key elements so that Nick Fury has control of
That's
things?
still evil.
See, I feel like...
regardless of the reason behind it,
He's paying it.
If you start taking control of the entire world's government for the good of mankind, that's
that
evil.
sound like a
That's
Nick
the
Fury thing,
Illuminati.
though?
Yeah, that's
Doesn't that sound like a Nick Fury thing? He's on a scroll ship right now.
I could see it being more
I assume he was
of
making
a-
the Ultimate Avengers.
Okay. I could see it being more of a he's doing something with good intentions, but there's a super scroll in the ranks that is actually manipulating it for himself. But the problem with that is it's similar to a lot of the Hydra stuff. Like there are so many different...
I got you. I got it right here. I
Okay.
got it.
Let's
I
hear
don't know
it.
if anyone
Let's
from
hear
Marvel
it.
is watching, but I got it right here.
Why do you always assume they're watching?
I
Based
just
on his
assumed.
movie ideas, I doubt it.
That's true. Nick Fury creates the Super Skrulls to help defend Earth. However, the rest of the evil Skrulls show up with the Skrull Queen, and they then take the abilities of the Super Skrulls and use it for nefarious reasons to secretly invade Earth.
Oh.
And then Nick Fury must stop this because he's kind of started it. He doesn't just take over world governments.
What if... Hold on.
like my idea better.
What if he is doing it for good reasons, that the
Okay.
Skrulls are amongst us,
Okay.
but the secret invasion is the Annihilation Horde?
Oh.
And the Skrulls actually fight on our side to help prevent
Sure.
the Annihilation.
Maybe. I can see that.
What if they make Kamala Khan a Super Skrull? Which would actually just be the easiest way to
Actually,
introduce her into the
Let's be
universe.
honest, that would be a perfect way to
She's
bring her in.
what is she in the comics? She's
Inhuman.
Inhuman.
She's Inhuman. Okay.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is Kree and yeah.
Which, I mean, as well as that show did, I'm surprised they haven't brought them up again.
Oh.
Did you watch that show? That was awful.
Did you actually watch it?
I watched one episode, and it was so bad.
Black Bolt never spoke, right? They just kept him quiet, mute the whole time.
Not
They
in the
had
first
him
episode.
speak, that would be the most ridiculous thing because he
No,
doesn't.
because there wasn't one
Yeah,
point.
that was when the Inhuman show jumped the shark.
Yeah, it was that part. There was one point where someone punches him, and he kind of does the like he got hit, and he like shifted a car that was like 10 feet away from him.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
I
such
feel
a
like
bad
even
show.
if he just coughed, it would knock down a building. I'm just-
Oh yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. Not move a car. That's what I'm saying.
Oh shit.
So,
We really hope he doesn't get the hiccups.
so based upon Spider-Man, where do you guys think it's going next? Because I give you my idea.
Probably Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's gonna be called like No Place Like Home.
I was going to call it Anywhere But Here.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Because there's Homecoming and Far From Home. and I was just like, Anywhere But Here.
Anywhere but here. Yeah, I mean, I assume they're gonna do the whole New York is against Spider-Man because at this point he's the hero, right? Everyone knows it.
Yep.
And now that he's been revealed and supposedly killed, Quentin
Right.
Beck, that's what J. Jonah is saying, it's going to be that thing where, like, they're against him, but half the city's still with him.
It's
gonna
a
go
New York
into
Civil War,
It's going to go
essentially.
more into, like, the normal... What's the word I'm looking for here? The more normal status quo of Spider-Man.
I was going to say
Kind of like
kerfuffle.
where, like,
that's cool.
everyone's against him, but not really everyone's against him.
Right. It's
Kinda thing.
definitely going to be now that he's outed, people are going to be either, oh, he can't do this, or other people, Flash Thompson going, no, Spider-Man's amazing. He clearly didn't do that. He's being set up.
Right,
And it's
right,
just
right.
going to be a constant clashing.
And then, honestly, it could probably go
This is
into
clashing
towards...
for
This
you?
is what
Yeah.
how he plays with his action figures.
Now kiss.
It could probably go into like towards the end of Civil War, which is right before when when Peter switched sides because someone tried to assassinate Aunt May because of him.
Yeah.
So it could go that route, and then he could try to find some way to
Doctor Strange.
to wipe
And then we get
everyone's
the
mind.
Spider-Man Doctor Strange crossover we've been wanting because have you ever seen Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland in an interview?
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
honestly, Tom Holland with anybody is hilarious most of the time.
Yeah.
I like the bromance between him and Jake Gyllenhaal. It's pretty funny.
Yes, I agree. I think we'll get Black Suit Spider-Man next, though.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like the stealth suit. I thought the stealth suit. Was
I
really
like the
cool
stealth
in
suit
this
as
movie,
well.
Yeah. I like when he's like, it's a little snug around my web shooter. I thought it was good.
That was good. That was good.
So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you want to follow the episode, please subscribe to the Comicstorian channel. Find us on Spotify, iTunes Podcast, or SoundCloud. You can also get the fully unedited, uncut version with the segments we did take out over on our patreon.com/Comicstorian page for only $2. For $5, you get access to exclusive stuff, such as like Mangastorian and things like that. You can also go check us out at twitch.tv/EligibleMonster, where you can watch us live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, where these two are about to drive me up the freaking wall.
Correct.
You said
sir.
wall. I got nothing.
Proving my point.
That's the word of the day.
And if you want to show your support for the show, please consider getting yourself some t-shirts. This is our Final Fantasy XIV one. There's an EM one. The Spider-Man one's not available. We are making an official Comics Experiment one coming up very soon, but there is Comicstorian, Comicstorian Metal, and there is Crack-a-Cocoon, and there is a Warframe one up there as well. Thank you guys so much today, and we will catch you next time right here at the Comics Experiment.
Bye, guys.
Ooh-wee-oo.